It's 8:03 in the morning. I've barely spoken today, and we are starting first thing with this transmission because it is going to completely transform your day. And it is just bursting out of me, so I wanted to share it ASAP so your day can change right now. So you can live a whole different reality for the rest of your day or evening, wherever you're at. Everything can change, is changing now. So why am I so excited? What we're talking about today is the inner critic, but more importantly, we're talking about the inner cheerleader. So the inner critic is this voice that is very common in the collective. Like, I really imagine if you stopped pretty much anyone on the street and said, do you know what the inner critic is? They'd be like, yeah, it's the voice that just shames me, judges me, criticizes me, is mean to me, bullies me, like belittles me, all of these terrible things. And you are probably quite intimate with that voice in your own psyche, in your own experience. Like, if I say inner critic, you probably instantly know what that is like in your life and how she shows up in your life. So the very first thing I want to share with you is that the inner critic is not a requirement. Yes, it has been normalized. Yes, it is common, but I truly, wholeheartedly, 100% with every fiber of my being know that it is not a necessary part of our experience. It is not, because it is the voice of trauma. It is the voice that reflects the beliefs that you are bad, you are wrong, you are not enough, and you are not lovable. It is the voice of shame. And those beliefs are not true beliefs. Those are the broken beliefs within you. Those are the distorted codes within your system and your psyche. This is a reflection of the dysregulation of your nervous system. Because the one thing I do know is that our natural state is bliss, love, trust. And so anything that's not that is false, is untrue. And so if you're living with this really loud, consistent inner critic, the first thing I want you to know, it is not your natural state. It is not something that you need to just like make peace with and learn to love. This is what's taught in so much parts work, if you've ever done that, like, right, love every part of you. And I believe there is a time and a place for that. And that's like really like level 1, level 2 love. Where I'm at in my own life and how I'm coaching and showing up is like a level 10 love. It is the fierce love. It is the fighter love. It's the love that says, get the fuck out of my house, you're making a mess. Like, you are not welcome here. I'm not going to be talked to this way. I'm not going to be treated this way. Because you all know, if you had a friend who was talking to you like the inner critic talks to you, you would not be like, oh, okay, like I love you, I see you, it's okay. You'd be like, get the fuck out of my life. Or you'd use whatever words are in resonance with you. But for me, it would get quite intense. I'd be like, get the fuck out of my life. Like, I see you, I know you're in pain, I know you're projecting, like, I wish you the best, and I'm not going to be treated this way. So this is really about having boundaries with yourself and showing up in that fierce love with yourself. Because I know you have probably tried the loving part and loving this aspect of you, and you're still experiencing it. And I do think that's like a beautiful part of the journey. And once again, like my most recent transmission, like, we're going the direct way. We're just going like straight. We're just cutting straight through all the BS. And I'm giving you the most direct way to work with all of these patterns. So knowing that the inner critic is this voice of trauma, is this dysregulated state, is a reflection of incorrect beliefs that you have about yourself, it's important to work in the long game. So what I mean by working with the long game is what I'm going to share to you is a short-term, like instant change that you can implement today and is something that you will work with also for the long game. But it's not going to be solving everything at the root cause. It's going to help, and so it's a part of the solution. And the sustainable work that needs to be done and is required for you to do in order to really alchemize this part of your psyche and these untruths within your being and your nervous system is to work directly with your nervous system, with the incomplete charges, with the trauma somatically, and regulate, strengthen your nervous system, build vagal tone. Like, that takes some time and energy. And that's really important that you do that work, because that's going to lead to the complete like eradication of the voice of trauma, because you will return to your wholeness, to the truth. And as I said, like that takes some time and energy. And so in the meantime, what I'm sharing with you is going to be something that will change your relationship to the inner critic today, now, instantly, because we get to work both angles. You get to work the long-term sustainable growth and healing, and you get to work the like, let's change things right now, today, instantly. Both can coexist. Both are really important. And what I'm teaching you today works really well with the long term, because like once you, as I kind of always say, it's like, right, these are untruths, these are lies, this is the voice of trauma. Once you delete that program, like it's a corrupted file. Like imagine you had a virus on your computer. It's a corrupted file. That's what's happening in your body and your psyche. I want you to view it that way. Like it's a virus in your system. It's a virus, it's a corrupted file. It's messing up how your iPhone's working, right? I know they don't get viruses, but stay with me in this metaphor. So once you like delete a file, you would install a new file, a new program. And what we're doing today is installing the new file. So it's always really important that we delete the old corrupted file, and we need to install a new file. And so I used to view this more as like step one, step two. Now I don't really view anything as linear. So it's like these can be coexisting and these can be happening at the same time, because that's just actually going to amplify and make a more profound experience. It's going to go exponential. So we get to work all of it. Oh, this is so good. So this brings me to the inner cheerleader, because if you've ever been on the journey of health and wellness and having intentionality around the food that you're eating, you know, eating a healthier diet, providing more nourishment for yourself, there's two ways you can really approach this. And there's the people that would be like, okay, like I'm going to have no more sugar, no more soda, no more candy, kind of all of these no rules, like no more of this. And if you've ever tried that, which I have, like it doesn't really work. I mean, it might, but it creates like a lot of constriction in your psyche, and it creates like a lot of resistance. And there's always like, oh, I can't have this. And then you want it more, because what you resist persists. Excuse me. So we typically end up wanting it more. It creates this contraction in our field, and it's just like really not fun. And so the easier way, the more supportive way to shift your diet, I have found, is to be like, okay, I'm actually going to add in more greens, more vegetables. I'm going to drink more water. You know, it's like what you're adding in. It's what you're having more of. And this is a much more like abundant mindset around how you're shifting your nutrition. So this is what we're doing with the inner cheerleader. Rather than saying I'm going to have no more bad thoughts, I'm not going to judge myself anymore, I'm not going to criticize anymore, like, which is this contracted way of relating to the inner critic, it's actually like I'm going to add in more positive thoughts, more supportive thoughts, more celebrating thoughts. And that's what the inner cheerleader does. Because if you think archetypally about the cheerleader, like what are they doing? They're going like, rah, rah, boom, 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 you've got this, let's go. You know, like that's what the cheerleader is doing. The cheerleader is celebrating. The cheerleader is rooting on the team. They are seeing them like in all of their power and all of their magic. And they're like, let's go, you got this. Like, we're going to win. We're going to win. And so that's the voice that I want you to begin developing within your own psyche, heart, body, and system. This is what you're going to begin programming yourself with, is this inner cheerleader voice of celebration. It just feels like so good saying that, because it just brings so much joy. Like, I love it. I'm so excited for you all. Oh my goodness. Because this is something that just like really changed my life. And I've only really learned it in the past year or so, I want to say. So, that's really your invitation for today, is to start amplifying, or maybe even just using, then amplifying the voice of the inner cheerleader throughout your day. And so you can use this in the first person, second person, third person. That's either like I am, you are, she is. Like whichever way really resonates with your system, I find that they all have a different texture and energy to them. So you're going to see like what feels most supportive for you. And like what I mean by this is like what happens in your nervous system, in your body as you're saying that. Like is there more of a contraction or is there more of like a softening and allowing? Because you want to be working with the beliefs that allow like a softening and allowing. So it might just be like, that was good. Like you did a good job. That might be what you can accept about yourself today. And then you amplify it though. It's like, that was fucking brilliant. Like you're amazing. Maybe your nervous system cannot receive that today, and that's okay. But like know that this is going to build upon each other. So as big as you can make it, really go there. And I just remember, like, this brings me back because I remember driving in my car to yoga, like at one point when I was in the US. And that's when this like really came through to me where I was like, whoa, like the world can be tough. Like it can be challenging. Like we don't need to deny that reality. Like I believe that we live in a benevolent, like beautiful world. And like there can be some cruel people and some cruel experiences and judgmental things and criticism and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, whoa, like no one's going to cheer for me as much as I cheer for myself. Like I need to believe in myself and cheer myself on the most. Like I need to amplify that within myself. Like I'm the only one that I've got. And not like I don't have support around me, but like really realizing like this relationship with myself is the most important, is the one that's always with me. And the reason I'm sharing this today and why it was so alive in my field is because I'm really in this season right now where, like, as you know, my phrase has always been like, right, drench yourself in devotion, like live your life as like your lover. And I'm always deepening. And so what's been really alive in my field, specifically the past week, and what I'm intentionally working with for these next 6 weeks before I head into another season and leave this chapter of being in Mexico for a bit, is like I'm playing with the energy of I am the love of my life. I am the love of my life. So how would I treat myself if I was the love of my life? Because I am the love of my life, right? Like this just takes like the devotion to the self like so much deeper, and it's just like a different texture for me. And so, right, it's like how am I romancing myself? How am I speaking to myself? How am I dressing for myself? Like this is something I've always done, and it's in an amplification right now. Like I am going all in, balls to the wall, pussy to the floor. I don't know, like if we can make a new phrase, but I'm going like 120% in with this energy because I know like something profound is shifting for me, and like a big up leveling is happening in my sense of self and self concept and relationship to the self. So I've taken the drench yourself in devotion, and I'm just like, yeah, what do I want to deepen right now? It's that. Let's go full on. I'm the fucking love of my life. Like I'm going to treat myself how I want my lover to be treating me. And maybe you've been playing with that. And so if you already have, just like I have, the invitation here is to now step it up. Like turn up the dial, add more heat to it, make it even bigger, because there's always more. And not that we need to always do more, but like with self-love, I really believe we can. Like I want you obsessed with yourself. I want you so obsessed with yourself that you were just like the most incredible, magical, adorable, beautiful being on this planet. That's what I want for all of you. So that's what we're doing here. That's what the voice of the inner cheerleader can support you with. And that's the voice that I want to be loudest in your head. Like the ones that like, yeah, you fucking got this. Let's go. You can do it. Anything is possible. Like you're beautiful, you're divine, you're majestic, you're hilarious, you're brilliant. Like, so throughout your day, as you're doing things, intentionally bring this voice in, because it's probably not there a lot. So this is where you get to be really intentional. Like if you finish a project, or even as you're working on a project, like, whoa, like even this transmission, I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, this is amazing. I'm so proud of this. And so seed it in as much as you can, as often as you can. Set reminders on your phone to remind you until this becomes more of a habit, until those neural pathways are more built, and really have fun with it. Really have fun with it. At the end of the day, like, this is fun. This is play. This is a game of expansion, of love, of beauty, of magic, of truth. So come into more truth with yourself. Shaming yourself, belittling yourself, minimizing yourself is not helping anyone. It is false humbleness. It is not required. It is really just a form of self-hatred. So I'm inviting you to step into so much more true, profound love. Find the texture that you can resonate with today, and know that you're planting seeds and you're watering them. So they will continue to grow and blossom into flowers. So if this feels like too much today to be like, yeah, I'm fucking genius, brilliant, that was amazing, like find what seed you can plant today and water it. And I promise you, everything, I know everything will shift from that intentionality alone.